Hello again, my name is Barbara Stevens. In case you haven't joined me on my other two webinars, I'm a specialist breakup recovery mentor, and I'd like to thank you for attending and listening to this third webinar in a 4-part series of webinars called How to Get Over Your Breakup in 12 Easy Steps. If you've missed the previous two webinars, they are available for you to listen to for free on my website, barbarastevens.com.au, under free resources. I value your time, so I won't talk about myself for too long, but I want to give you a short overview on what I do. So my passion is to work with women who have gone through their breakups by helping them regain their confidence through my 12 inspirational step program so they can embrace life again. I'm also offering a 30-minute sounding board session as a thank you for listening to this webinar, and I'll tell you more about this at the end of this session. First of all, I'll give you an outline of what we were covering today, and I also want to tell you my expectations of this webinar and what I will be offering you today. I want to make sure that I'm giving you valuable content that is honest and straightforward. I want to give you key skills and strategies and tools that you can take away and implement them in your lives now and start to make a difference in the way that you think and act. I want you to know that I've been there and done that. I want to share my experiences that I've had with my own divorce and some of my clients' issues that may resonate with your own. Of course, I won't be mentioning any names of my clients, just their circumstances and common issues that we all have when we have experienced a breakup and trying to regain our confidence so that we can embrace life again. And I want to give you access to free resources through my website and my blogs that I have written and posted. As with my other webinars, you will need a pen and some paper, as we are going to complete a few small exercises which will need you to write things down that are true for you or ideas that you can explore at a later date. So my webinars are about some talking from me and some doing from you, which I think works best if you really want to make positive changes in your life. Just hearing me speak is not enough. You actually have to do some of the work yourself in order to create real changes and see benefits. I've developed my 12 inspirational step program so that I can help women to get back on track after their breakup. So often after a breakup, your confidence is shattered. You feel lost and alone and don't know where to turn. So today I'm going to cover 3 more steps, 3 more of the 12 steps in this third webinar. And in the last 3 steps that are still yet to come, I'll be covering these in my last webinar, webinar number 4. And I hope that you'll join me for that final webinar, which will be on Thursday, the 20th of November. So I'm sorry, I haven't done my slideshow, so that's what I was just talking about. So in webinar number 3, we're going to be covering step 7, get social, step 8, staying well, and step 9, finding happiness. As I've said before, I value your time, and for those of you who have listened to webinars number 1 and 2 have heard my background. So I won't go into it again and possibly bore you, but I will share my own insights based on my experiences when we cover the 3 steps today: get social, staying well, and finding happiness. So let's get started on step number 7, get social. It's now that time that we start to focus on what you want to do in your life. You have had the opportunity to explore all the things you may have put on hold because you didn't think you had enough time. You have the freedom now to indulge in activities that maybe your ex-partner did not enjoy doing. These activities could allow you to get out there and meet new people and ultimately feel better about yourself. In this step, we are going to talk about building rapport when meeting people. You might think that you have excellent skills in this area. However, it doesn't hurt to go over them again. I hope that you might even learn a new skill that could be of use to you when you are meeting people for the first time. And on the subject of meeting new people, I'm sure some of you cringed at the thought of putting yourself in that situation when you have to meet people for the first time. It can be daunting. Believe it or not, I am basically a shy person, especially when I'm meeting someone for the first time. Once I am feeling comfortable and build a rapport, I think I almost change personality. I become more relaxed and feel able to make conversation that shows more of my personality. So I'm going to give you a few tips that I use when I'm meeting people for the first time. One of the first things I try and remember that it's all about them. If you can remember this tip, I'm sure it is going to help you feel a lot more comfortable when you are put in the situation of being a newbie. What you want to do is to build a level of trust and gain an understanding of the other person and their message so that they unconsciously feel comfortable and relaxed in your company, allowing the conversation to flow easily. Now, this can be done in a variety of both non-verbal and verbal ways. You want to look non-threatening. No one wants to be around someone who they feel intimidates them straight up. Most people feel comfortable around others when they give off an atmosphere that they both like or value them. And one of the best ways to do this is to smile. The simple act of a smile can put anyone and everyone at ease. You see it all the time. And I'm sure you're remembering a time when someone smiled at you and you immediately thought, I like this person, or they made you feel more relaxed. If you use a slight head tilt, it can show the other person that you are comfortable with them and trust them and also listening to the conversation. Again, making them feel valued and appreciated. Maintaining eye contact most of the time during the conversation shows them that you are interested in what they are saying. No one likes it when you are talking to someone and they are constantly looking at other places, either behind you or to the side of you. It's giving a message that they are not interested in what you have to say and are looking for something better or more interesting to move on to. So maintaining eye contact is very important and reassures the other person you are truly immersed in what they have to say. Again, making them feel valued and appreciated. Now, none of these techniques work if you do not have a genuine interest. If someone can see that you do not have this genuine interest, they will lose trust in you very quickly and possibly start looking around for someone else to talk to. Of course, you will be able to tell this by their behaviour, such as the eye contact, or they fold their arms and possibly become a bit fidgety. This may be something that you want, but for the purpose of this webinar, let's say you do want to build a rapport with this particular person using non-verbal tips that I have covered. And if you can put them into practice, they can be beneficial when you are socializing. Now let's move on to some of the verbal tips that you can use. When you are nervous, it can be very easy to get too excited and speak too fast when you are having a conversation with someone for the first time. Slowing down your speech and taking pauses gives you more credibility. You see public speakers do this all the time. Another tip is to keep your ego in check. What I mean by this technique is putting the other person's wants and needs ahead of your own. This will often help you to build a healthier connection between the two of you. Often when we are engaging with another person in conversation, we wait for their story to be told and counter their story with a better or what we think is a more interesting one relating to that topic, almost a one-upmanship scenario. When you listen and focus on someone else's story without trying to think about what story you can tell to match theirs or to tell what you think is a better story, you are more likely to remember the details and continue with the conversation, even asking questions, again, making them feel appreciated and valued. Now, some resources that you may be interested in following up with, and I found helpful, was a book called Body Language by Alan Pease. And another book I read was How to Win Friends, and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Both worth a read. Now it's time for our first exercise. After listening to the tips and techniques that I've just shared with you about building rapport with other people, there might be techniques that you now realize you need to work on, so that when you are meeting people for the first time, you can feel more confident to make better connection, enabling you to maintain easier communication and feel it more at ease when you're doing so. So I'm going to give you a minute, or maybe just under a minute, to write down any ideas you have on this subject of building rapport. So hopefully I've given you enough time, or you could just stop the video and write down any of the techniques you might like to work on. So as with all my other webinars, I like to share an affirmation relating to the step I've just covered. And the affirmation for step number 7, Get Social, is I'm now ready to open the doors of opportunity. So feel free to change the wording if you need to make it true for you. So now let's move on to the next step, which is step number 8, staying well. It's never easy when a relationship ends. Breakups can change your life and cause pain and distress. However, in the midst of this grief, you have an opportunity to learn and to grow. Recovering from a breakup is difficult, but can be made much easier if you stay well and look after yourself. Healing is gradual, so be patient and allow yourself the time it takes to mend and pull through to a more positive and fulfilling life. Now, if you're anything like me, patience is not one of your strongest qualities. However, it is necessary when recovering from a breakup. Staying well after a breakup is about looking after yourself and helping you to feel better during this difficult time. It can be easy to let yourself go and indulge in unhealthy habits. These can include eating high foods in sugar and fat, drinking too much alcohol, not getting enough exercise or sleep. As we all know, exercising and eating well and generally keeping on top of everything health-wise will help you not only to live longer, but will also help you to avoid disease and illness, something that will definitely slow up the process of you getting over your breakup and living the life you want to lead. Staying well will help rebuild your life and give you the strength to focus on your future. Now, when I went through my divorce, the last thing I wanted to do was get out of my PJs and out into the world to exercise. I certainly had no energy in getting out of my comfort zone, which happened to be the couch. Was not an idea I entertained at all. I had a friend that would keep making these arrangements for me to walk with her after work each day. I dreaded taking her calls and even thought of ignoring them, but I knew that wouldn't work because she knew where I lived and worked and had the tracking abilities similar to a beagle. So I felt no place was safe for me to hide from her and her annoying requests to keep me company on her walks. I knew if I ignored her request, she would be on my doorstep and would not hesitate to drag me out off that couch no matter what I was wearing. So I relented and went on her silly walks. I must say I didn't enjoy them at first, and I'm sure all I talked about was my breakup. But after weeks, I started to look forward to meeting up. I still kept on about my breakup, which must have driven her to early deafness, but after a month or so, I was the one making the arrangements to meet up for a walk. I was starting to enjoy life again. There is something about being in the outdoors amongst nature and often lightens your mood. walking amongst the flowers, the trees, seeing nature, the birds, the butterflies. It's hard to feel down and out when you're looking at beauty that Mother Nature has to offer. Another fact in favour of exercise is that exercise stimulates and releases feel-good endorphins that not only make you feel better, but also increases your energy levels. In addition to keeping you looking good, physical activity also helps you to clear your mind and assist you in making positive choices and better decisions. Now, to maintain a healthy body, experts recommend at least 30 minutes of moderate physical activity each day. These activities don't have to be strenuous ones. They can include walking, like I did, bike riding, swimming, yoga, surfing, golf, etc. Any activity that gets you off that couch is a good thing. So if you have a friend like mine that is nagging you to join them, bite the bullet. Even though it's the last thing you want to do, it's better than some of the alternatives like cleaning out that kitchen sink cupboard, staying on the couch and feeling miserable and sorry for yourself. So you just need to get out there and do some exercise. Next thing I wanted to talk about was food. Whilst other people reach for comfort food during these times of a breakup, I was the opposite. I had absolutely no appetite. And on the bright side, it was one of the best weight loss systems I've ever experienced, but not in a healthy way. And I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. So either way, reaching for comfort food or not eating can be detrimental to your health. When you are first broken up, it's very easy to grab the Tim Tams, eat chips that are high in salt, and finish off with ice cream that has its listed ingredients that are either unpronounceable or just numbers. The types of foods that you consume can make a difference to your mental and physical health. Eating well means having a variety of healthy foods in your diet. These can include consuming plenty of fruit and vegetables, lean meat, chicken and fish, cereals like bread, rice, pasta, dairy products, and water for hydration. I think we've all seen this food pyramid and know what food we should be eating so that we can maintain a balanced diet. It's easy to know all of this, but it's also a matter of taking the time to shop for the food and preparing enjoyable culinary delights at meal times. We all think on some level that we have a balanced diet and we eat the right foods and drink enough water. But it isn't until you write down everything you are consuming in a week that you truly know if you are on the right track in terms of eating and drinking habits. I would like you to make a commitment to write down everything that you consume in 1 week and see if what you think and what you actually do are the same. So I have set some homework for you for the next week. Complete a chart something like this. So you have the day Monday, you write down what you have for breakfast. If you have a snack, write down what you have for lunch. If you have another snack, maybe dinner, and then maybe if you have another snack, you write that down, and definitely the number of glasses of water you drink. Write down everything that you're eating and drinking and do it for a week. It's not something that you have to share with anyone else. It's more of an awareness thing for you so that you can take the necessary adjustments to your diet if you find something lacking or if you're eating too much of the wrong foods or not even drinking enough water. Changing your bad habits will ultimately prevent illness and disease, something you don't want in your life. So take the 1 week challenge and write down everything that you eat and drink and see how you fare. I think it will be worth it. Now, the affirmation for this step, I am now ready to start looking after my mind and body and nourish and support myself with positive and loving thoughts. As with every other affirmation, change the wording if you need to. Let's move on to the last step. Step number 9, finding happiness. After a breakup, it's easy to feel that your life has come to an end and that your dreams have been crushed and that your future is now uncertain. Many of us struggle to find happiness after enduring a breakup. Sadness, anger, frustration, and depression can take over your life. It is normal to feel anxious and uncertain about your future. But once you've accepted your emotions and learned from your experience of breaking up, you can start taking positive steps to move forward. It's about taking small steps and implementing small changes so that you can move forward. How do you find happiness? Now, that's a good question that many of us ask ourselves every day, whether we have been through a breakup or not. Many people think that money, fame, social status, material possessions, a big house, a fancy car will give them happiness in their lives. Sure, you can be happy when you have these things, but happiness does not depend on these things. Fame will not make you happy if you are unhappy inside. Just look at some of the famous people that have committed suicide recently. Money will not give you enjoyment if you are anxious and depressed. Having all these things does not remove the cause of your unhappiness. There can be a number of things that prevent people from achieving happiness. Thinking and blaming other people, situations, and events for your unhappiness are common practices, and often these phrases are used. I am unhappy because I live in a small house. I am unhappy because I cannot buy the car of my dreams. I am unhappy because I hate my job. I am unhappy because I do not have a partner. Will you find happiness if you move to a bigger house, buy that fancy car, change your job, meet the love of your life? Yes, you will enjoy these things. However, you run the risk of becoming dependent on achieving or getting these things to make you feel happy. Happiness comes from within and should never be dependent on external factors such as houses, cars, jobs, and other people. So how do you find happiness? Different strategies work for different people, and it's about trying them out and seeing what works for you. I'm going to give you a few tips that I know of to help you find happiness. There are many more out there, and I have not detailed that there are many more out there that I have not detailed and are waiting for you to explore and find them. So the first one I'm going to share with you is accept what cannot be changed. Not everything in your life is going to be perfect, and to expect that it is and will be is to put high and unrealistic pressure on yourself. Happy people learn to accept what has happened and that any setbacks or injustices cannot be changed. It's in the past. Don't stay in victim mode. It's time to put your energy into what can be changed. Changing your bigger issues like your negative thoughts, your living arrangements, your job, your car. Change the smaller ones like your eating habits, your clothes, and your hairstyle. These are all things that you have the power to change to suit you and what you want. You can't change the past, but you can change the present and the future. You can't change the fact that you have had a breakup with your partner, but you can change the way you deal with it. There are a number of behaviors that you can use to find happiness. The first one is letting go of grudges. When you are going through a breakup, holding on to things that your ex-partner has done or said to you will not help you to move forward. Forgiving and forgetting is a necessary part of your healing process. It may not be easy, however, it will give you peace. Holding on to these grudges means you are also holding on to anger, hurt, and resentment, all negative emotions. Letting go of your grudges will free you from negativity and allow you to embrace a new beginning and allow positive thoughts to come through into your life. You can't enjoy these positive thoughts if you are full of unpleasant emotions such as bitterness and hostility. Now it's time for exercise. I would like you to take a minute to write down 3 of your grudges you are holding on to in relation to your ex-partner and your breakup. These may include blaming your ex-partner for the feelings of hurt, anger, and pain you are feeling right now. They may be the awful things that they have said or done to you during your arguments or your breakup. I'll give you a minute to do this exercise, or you can just pause this webinar and write them down. Now that you've written your list, time to let go. And as I've said previously, you cannot change the past. It's time to let go of your grudges. They are not helping you to move forward. All they are doing is keeping you stuck in the past, reliving the old memories and emotions that you cannot change. So you need to find a way to release them. There are a number of ways you can do this, and I'm going to share 5 strategies with you today. The first strategy is remove these thoughts and memories or emotions from your everyday life. When one of these thoughts comes into your head, acknowledge it and replace it with a happy thought, or replace it with some words like a mantra or an affirmation that you have already prepared for this situation. I've given you a number of affirmations during my webinars, so you could use one of these or make up your own, whatever is true for you. The second strategy would be to practice mindfulness, which is focusing on everyday actions that you are doing. So if the thought comes into your head and you are driving the car, you change your thought and talk to yourself about what you are actually doing, practicing mindfulness. Like if, say, you were in the car at the time and one of the negative thoughts came up, say, stop, and then replace it with your own thoughts such as, I'm driving on this road. Maybe name the particular road that you're traveling on, such as High Street. So I'm driving on High Street. And continue saying what you are seeing, such as the sun is shining, the sky is blue, and there are no clouds. Then describe to yourself whatever else you are seeing as you are driving along the road. That might be a lady that is pushing the pram on the sidewalk, a man that is walking his dog on a lead, a school child walking home from school, anything that you are looking at. This takes your attention away from your negative thought and onto the present moment, practicing mindfulness. The third strategy I'm going to share with you is practicing EFT. If you don't know what that stands for, it's Emotional Freedom Technique, whereby you tap on certain energy points of the body and saying out aloud the problem and then positive affirmations to release the problem. You can get more information on this on the internet if you don't know this particular strategy. The fourth strategy is write down everything that is negative relating to the breakup, your emotions, the events, anything that comes to your mind. Take your list. You can either rip it up, burn it, or bury it. Release it into the universe and be done with it. Of course, making sure that you do this in a safe way and not to start any fires or burn anything down. Certainly wouldn't want that to happen. And the fifth strategy is to make a determined decision to let go of the grudges and negative thoughts about your breakup when you're in your meditation practice. If you don't already meditate, now might be a good time to start. There are many more on the internet, and the internet is a fantastic resource to find out more information if none of the strategies I have covered resonate with you. It's a matter of experimenting and finding the right one for you, or even asking friends and family what strategies they used when they let go of their grudges and negative emotions. Now, the affirmation for this step is, I am now ready to discard my old habits and take up new and positive ones. Every day is a new day full of hope and happiness. As with all the affirmations, change the wording to make it true for you if you need to. So, in conclusion, I have talked about 3 more steps today. Step 7, get social. Step 8, staying well. Step 9, finding happiness. With Get Social, with this step, I shared a few tips on how to build rapport, for when you meet someone for the first time. Remember, it's all about them. And this tip is a very easy way to help you make the other person feel more comfortable and engage with you in a meaningful way. I went through the importance of non-verbal actions such as smiling, slight head tilt, and keeping eye contact during conversations. Some verbal tips would be not to speak too quickly, taking pauses like you often see when you're listening to someone speak in public. If you can remember a breakfast meeting that you went to or a seminar or something like that, you can remember how the public speakers spoke. Another important technique is to keep your ego in check and listen to the other person's story without mentally trying to remember a story you can tell that either matches their story or to tell one that you think is better than theirs and trying to be a more superior in some way. And I gave you a minute to complete the exercise where you wrote down some techniques that you might like to remember to use when you are next meeting people for the first time. The second step we covered in today's seminar was staying well. And now it's easy to fall into the trap of eating in unhealthy ways when you have been through a breakup. Sure, most of us fall into the trap of reaching for foods that are convenient and easy to get our hands on. However, these foods are often high in fat, salt, and sugar. The fast food leaflets become the first thing you reach for when mealtime comes around, and sitting down to eat a bag of chips or a pizza, followed by something sweet, seems a much easier option than getting up and going to the store and shopping for healthy food for your meals. However, this cannot continue for very long if you want to get over your breakup and move forward with your life. Making the time to shop for healthy food options and preparing nourishing and nutritious meals is essential if you are going to rebuild your life and get the results you deserve. Also, making the time to exercise is very important. Exercising stimulates and releases feel-good endorphins that not only make you feel better, but also increase your energy levels. In addition to keeping you looking good, physical activity also helps you to clear your mind and assist you in making positive choices, better decisions that will give you strength to focus on the future that you do want. I gave you some homework that I think is very important. Most of us are good at fooling ourselves into thinking that we eat well. It's not until you actually write down everything that you eat and drink during the week that you get the true picture. Now, this exercise is just for your eyes only. It's an exercise that will only work if you are true to yourself, and you are the only one that can benefit from this exercise. I am hoping that you will write down everything that you are eating and drinking for 1 week, and after that week ends, look back on what you have written down and see the areas that you can improve. Now, I'm not saying that you have to go out and completely change your diet the very next day, but make small changes each week. So if you found that you were not drinking enough water, make a conscious effort the next week and fill up the number of water bottles you need to consume for the day and make sure that you drink the water. Maybe the next week you could change something else on the list that you weren't happy with. Do it gradually over a number of weeks and see how you feel after you've changed some of the things that need to be changed. I'm sure you will have more energy, start to feel better about yourself, and generally change the way you look at the world. The last step I covered was finding happiness. Finding happiness is different for each person. It's a misconception that you will be happy when you have material possessions or someone else is responsible for your happiness. Only you can find the answers that allow you to find happiness. I went through 5 strategies that you can try, and they are important techniques that will get you on the right track to achieving the results you want, so you can face any challenges that come your way with ease and confidence. Accept what cannot be changed and focus on the things that you can change, from the smaller ones such as the food that you eat to the more significant ones such as the thoughts you are thinking. Letting go of grudges, forgiving and forgetting the things that were associated with your breakup, is an important action that you will need to do if you are going to take control over your life. You did the exercise of writing down 3 or more grudges that you were holding on to in relation to your breakup. We looked at ways of releasing these grudges by changing your thoughts when they came up with happy thoughts or mantras and affirmations that work for you, practicing mindfulness and bringing your thoughts into the present. EFT is also a technique for you to explore, as well as writing out your grudges, and burning or burying them can be most helpful in letting go. And the last technique we looked at was letting go during a meditation practice. There are many more techniques and strategies that are available. It's just a matter of researching either on the internet or talking with family and friends and colleagues and experimenting so that you can find the best one that works for you. These techniques can also be useful for other areas of your life, not just issues you have in regards to your breakup. So we've come to the end of webinar number 3, and I would like to say thank you for listening, and I hope that I have been able to offer you what I set out to do, and that is to provide valuable content that is honest and straightforward, and that some of the exercises that you have completed have given you a different and more positive way of looking at your situation. If you have liked what you have listened to in this webinar and feel that I can help you further, or you would like to explore the benefits of my programs that I offer, I have 5 spots available for my 30-minute sounding board session as a thank you for listening to my webinar. And if you would like to discuss further options you can take to improve your current situation, you can join me for my 30-minute sounding board session. Sorry for that pause. I'm offering this for free. Usually I charge $47, but today you can register for free. The link is on the screen below. And on the right-hand side of your screen where it says, or down the bottom, it says 30-minute sounding board session, and there's a yellow box that says get started. In this 30-minute sounding board session, we will talk one-on-one about what's going on with your current situation. You will walk away, I'm just going to go backwards again. You will walk away with strategies that you can implement immediately so that you can begin to feel happy again and get back on track and start to feel good about yourself. I want you to begin your journey forward and live the life you truly deserve. I want you to love the person you are. So, as I said, the link is here on the screen as well as on the right-hand side of the screen. That takes you through to a form that you fill out, and I'll be in contact with you so we can arrange a time to meet, usually via Skype. Remember, there are only 5 spots available. I share further insights, information, and support through my Facebook community, Barbara Stevens, Breakup Recovery Mentor. So we have, if you want to get more tips to get through your breakup, have a look at my blogs, barbarastevens.com.au blogs. If you would like to find out more that I can offer you, have a look at my website, barbarastevens.com.au, or email me at info@barbarastevens.com.au. If you would like to listen to the previous webinars, webinar number 1 and 2, they are available on my website under free resources. I would like to connect with you and hear your feedback on what we have covered today. I look forward to having you experience my next and final webinar in this series on how to get over your breakup in 12 easy steps on Thursday, the 20th of November. And this particular webinar that you have been listening to will be posted on my website soon, so you can easily download it and listen to them again if you want. And the last thing I would like to say is, be gentle on yourself. You deserve happiness. I'm Barbara Stevens, and I've enjoyed your company.